Hello everyone, I'm glad you guys all made it to episode 6. Before we get to the core principles of masking, there's a few things I believe that's worth addressing. First of all, brush radius can be changed via pressure setting. I believe that's usually turned on by default. However, I would highly advise you guys to switch this option off. It's on the top left corner where it says radius. You want to switch it off for better consistency. When we're working on different objects, a quick way to switch between object A and object B is Alt Q. When we work on thin objects, it's highly recommended to enable front faces only. For brushes like clay strips, you tend to move the back face along with the forward face. To enable front faces only, you open up your side panel, go to Tool, scroll down, Advanced, Front Faces Only. And now when you try to add volume here, the backside does not get affected. I feel like I haven't addressed the move brush and the snake hook brush enough. G is the hotkey for your move brush, and K is the hotkey for your snake hook brush. The move brush is your bread and butter broad manipulation brush. It moves your object very conservatively. It's very good for precise movements, while the snake hook brush acts similarly to your move brush, but it makes your mesh so much more elastic and sometimes even too malleable. However, if you're focused on gesture blockouts, I highly recommend switching over to the snake hook brush. It gives you more freedom, it gives you more flexibility than your traditional move brush. F is the hotkey for changing the brush size. F to enter the selection. Move your cursor left and right to change brush larger or smaller. Left click to confirm. Since the size of your brush does not change when you zoom in and out of your object, you don't need to switch your brush size all the time. If you wish to work on a smaller area, zoom in on your model. If you wish to work on a bigger area, simply zoom out on your model. You adjust the area that you work with by zooming in and out of your object. Brush strength can be changed using the hotkey Shift F. I usually like to keep this around 50% or 0.5. This is a very good all-purpose strength. Change it at your own discretion. So here's how masking behaves in Blender. There are two types of masks. The first one is your mask brush, hotkey M, and the second type is your lasso mask. These two are the most commonly used and are the most useful. I highly recommend adding lasso mask to your quick favorites. Shift to smooth out the edges of a mask. Make sure you're on the mask brush in the first place. The area that's dark is unaffected by brush strokes, while the lighter areas are affected by brush strokes. Ctrl I to inverse the mask, and Alt M to clear the mask. On top of that, you can control your mask using the mask pie menu. A for your mask pie menu. Here you can shrink, you can grow, you can invert, you can sharpen, you can smooth, or you can clear the mask. I personally like to use hotkeys, but use whatever you feel comfortable. Once you have something masked, you can either delete it, duplicate it, separate it into a new object, or you can choose to pose it and move it. These things are often harder to do in traditional sculpt mode, so that's why we rely on masking for mesh management. Let's go over some of these scenarios in detail. So for the first operation, mask slice and fill holes, this is found under the mask menu, mask slice and fill holes. All these operations should be added to your quick favorites so we can access them very quickly, and these are very commonly used. Let's say you want to get rid of this portion over here. Instead of using a grab brush or a clay brush to try to remove volume or bunch this into the mesh itself and remesh, although that could work, it's a lot cleaner and a lot better and a lot faster to just mask slice and fill holes and remove it. Now we can clear the mask by Alt M and remesh and smooth this area over as if that portion never happened. Next, let's look at the duplication operation, otherwise known as mask extract. Let's say I want to duplicate this portion, go into the mask menu and navigate to mask extract. You do not want to extract it as a solid because we want to set our own thickness later on in edit mode. Or we can simply seal the hole ourselves. And let's see how that's going to work. So let's extract. Now we have a new object. This is optional to center the origin to its geometry for better navigation purposes. But now I will navigate and move this object on top. Notice there's an open hole. We can go into edit mode, select everything, extrude faces along normals to add thickness, either on the inside or on the outside. Alternatively, you can go into X-ray mode, select a multitude of faces along the opening, and scale it to 0. Once you scale it to 0, it effectively seals the hole. Now we can go back to sculpture mode and remesh this object. To join these two objects together, use snake hook brush to make a connection. Go back to object mode, join them together with Ctrl J, go back to sculpture mode, remesh, and now they are connected. To separate a portion of your sculpt to a brand new object, first select, navigate to mask, mask slice to new object, and now these are separate. Posing and moving a portion of your sculpture is also very important. First, make your selection. Engage the boundary of the mask with the smooth brush, so Blender knows where the mask border is. R to rotate. Set pivot to mask border. Areas that are dark are unaffected by the rotation, while areas that are light are affected by the rotation. Invert the mask to change the opposite side. Now you should have enough knowledge to know how to extract, separate, duplicate meshes as you wish. I'd like you to finish creating the stem and the leaf for the apple. And for those of you that want a little more practice, I challenge you to create a hand holding an apple. It's best to use your own hand as a reference. There are many ways to create a hand holding an apple. There are no wrong answers. Next episode, we'll do a milestone project using all the knowledge we learned from episode 1 to episode 6 to create this sculpture of a hand holding an apple. Stay tuned.